The floodgates are open and there's a staggering 17,000 plus of unsold homes in the Toronto housing market right now. That is up 70% from last year at the same time. And take a look at this. 63% of these unsold homes are condos. There's been a flurry of activity in January with rate cuts, threats of tariffs, hits on pause, mortgage rule changes, but despite all of these market changes and economic swings, condos are still struggling like never before. The buyer confidence still hasn't returned, and it's obviously even worse for the condo market. But who can blame buyers right now, right? When the market is giving so many mixed signals. Get this stat. Unsold homes are up 70% from last January. At the same time, but prices are up $15,000 on average from last January. Some of this volatility doesn't really make sense, but there's actually a good portion of it that can be explained by the latest set of real estate data that just got released. So in my latest market update episode for you, I'll be showing you the behind the scenes and kind of like the little gold nuggets of data that I could dig out to give you a way to understand the market and to uncover what on earth is actually happening in the real estate market. And as a quick preview of the episode, the current market continues to be propelled by a very strong freehold market where a third, 31% of those properties that were sold over list price in just 2 weeks. That's something people aren't going to tell you. So there's more than meets the eyes, and the numbers just don't lie. Not all properties are created equal, and this segment of the market is outperforming the rest. Hi, my name is Zen, and if you're enjoying my data-driven and number-crunching real estate updates, be sure to like and subscribe. 70% increase in unsold inventory. That's a very alarming number. Here's the chart, show you exactly what is happening. You can see that we're at great financial crisis level of inventory that we saw in 2008 for January. Is it time to panic? Yes and no. And I'm going to show you with data why. I'm going to continue with the bad first, and then I'll show you like the silver lining in the entry freehold market later in this video. Now, this chart here shows you all the properties that are available to buy right now as of like early Feb. Available to buy means unsold. And you can see that in Toronto, 62% of the unsold inventory is condos. That is a lot. You can also see here that 46% of that segment of condos is within that $500,000 to $700,000 range, which I would say is the investor level pricing. And therein lies the problem. Investors looking to sell are not selling unless they are priced right. Some are still unrealistic, like really unrealistic. And I can see that from the listings in the downtown area as I look into it, because a majority of them are tenanted or vacant, meaning that it's owned by an investor who is selling. And you may have heard a lot of realtors, maybe on TikTok, I don't know, whatever, saying that activity is up. And it is true, but it's phrased in a very misleading way. You can see this chart over here, it shows you the amount of showings, like people registering to go see a property. The amount of showings is actually up from last year. It's up quite a bit, 43%. It is a lot. But the thing is that those showings are not translating into sales. So if you look at the active listings, you can see that December 2024, the active listings is very similar to January 2025, 1 month later. And the main reason for that is the listings remained on the market. Whether they terminated and relisted and it's posing as a new listing is actually irrelevant, because at the end of the month, if it's an active listing, it's an active listing. Usually, a lot of terminated listings in December don't actually come back on to the market until like spring, so call it your March or April. But you can see this year was not the case. And this is why there's a larger amount of inventory in January than normal. And herein lies the problem in the Toronto real estate market. Excess condo inventory in the resale market, pushing all the numbers up. It's really because there's no incentive if you are a condo investor to take your condo off the market until spring. It makes no sense. It would sit vacant or tenanted anyway, so you might as well just keep it on the market hoping that it will sell. Whereas traditionally, if it's an end user who's selling the property, they don't relist till spring because they live there, and the spring market generally is a little bit better for selling. Hey, it's me interrupting myself. Ready to make a move? Just one free call, no hassle, put decades of experience to work for you. Now, looking at the January sales, you can see that they are low. It's lower than last year, which isn't a good sign. But I talked about this in previous videos that the looming tariffs did put the market on pause for like the last 10 days, 2 weeks of January. But it's not the only reason the market started off slow, sluggish, right? When buyers have this many options, they are just less motivated to buy because there's so many options. And January 2025 is shaping out like September 2024, where there's a lot of unsold inventory, a very high average days on market, and currently it's sitting at 37 days on market, which means that we need more than 1 month to see these listings sell on average. So the January set of sold properties should be lower because it's taking more than a month to sell your average property. And then on top of that, you got your 30-day tariff pause. So maybe there'll be a resuming of activity. Maybe it'll continue pausing. Who knows, right? I don't know. And this is why you'll see a lot of the headlines say the absorption rate, right, sales to new listing ratio is historically low. It is true. It's the 4th lowest ever in a month since the Toronto Real Estate Board started tracking the new listing data. It's at 31% absorption, which squarely puts it in a buyer's market, which is below that 50% line in red. And 50 just means it's balanced, and anything above 50, it's green, which is a seller's market. So the last time it was this low in January was actually in 2009 during the great financial crisis. But the reason why I'm not alarmed at this stat that a lot of people are talking about is that the months of inventory, which is the more reliable indicator, is showing that the same number as it did in December 2024, meaning that the absorption stat, or sales to new listing ratio, is rather inflated because a lot of sellers are terminating their listing from December and they relisted it in January. So it's like the whole new year, new me, new listing, right? It's the same listing. And here's the silver lining in the entire market. While there are a lot of condos for sale right now, as I've been saying, there aren't that many freeholds. And remember how I was saying a lot in the last few months that the market is going to be splitting into 2 different types of market. Your freehold market and then your condo market. If you look at this chart over here, the chart shows you exactly how competitive the entry-level freehold market is right now. In all of the Greater Toronto Area, 31% of freehold properties between 900,000 and 1.5 million, or what I'm calling the entry-level freehold, are sold over list price. The median days on market is 18, which means half of them are selling before 18 days with condition period baked in. But why is the average so high, above 30? It's because you have your really poor quality listings that aren't turnkey and are priced too high right now and are sitting on the market from before. But those turnkey, staged, and shows well property that are listed under market are getting multiple offers. Like not like 20 plus, like 3 to 5. And that is why a third of the entry-level freeholds are selling over the list price. And this segment makes up 40% of the sales that happened in January. 40%. I hope you understand the gravity of these numbers. To simply put it, lots of condos out there, not many turnkey entry freehold, which is where most of the action is happening right now, the turnkey freehold property. Talk about totally different type of market, and the freehold turnkey outperforming the rest. Look, don't get me wrong, condos are still selling, but they are significantly oversupplied right now, and you have to be priced really, really well, presented very, very well, so that people will actually buy it. And this is why it's more important than ever that you have a professional, like who does this for a living, not part-time, sell your condo, and not Uncle Jim, who's a part-time realtor. And I really hope this gives you an idea of what's happening during the start of the 2025 real estate market, because it is a little bit crazy with all the headlines going on. The spring inventory is here already, and I suspect we're gonna get more of it. But the problem is that the quality freehold entry-level listings just aren't here. And there are more buyers than there are sellers for it, hence why it's competitive. And this is likely to continue for the rest of 2025. The bad news for the entire market will outweigh the good. But if you're looking for that entry freehold turnkey property in all of the Greater Toronto Area, get ready. It's a totally different market than what the headlines are reporting. Where things can get more complicated is when you like layer in all the trade war talks, because like we're on pause right now, but it could resume. So if you're wondering how the tariffs will affect the real estate market, make sure you check out this video over here where I break down and analyze some very smart people's opinions on what's going to happen from the global kind of macroeconomic perspective of the tariffs. And then I put that into a perspective for the real estate market. I'll see you in that next video. And remember, your move, your future. See ya!